How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to an episode here on Let's Play Twitter. As always, I'm Ethan, or Unknown Coder, your favorite underqualified senior software engineer. And today we're going to continue working on our notifications. We're going to go ahead and try to get some fetched. That way we can go ahead and use the notification page and actually show some notifications. We're not going to quite get that far this episode. I think I want to try to go ahead and get the notification page actually set up and just kind of go from there. But with that being said, let's go and hop into our code. We're going to start out on the back end just because I kind of messed up a little bit. We don't actually have a query that we need to get all of the posts because we don't only want the new post, we also want the posts that are read as well. That way we can kind of see a history. So let's go ahead and hop into the code. So here in the backend, we want to go ahead and go to the notification repository first. And inside the notification repository, we're going to go ahead and make a new repository method. We're going to say list of notification, and we're going to go ahead and call this get by recipient, maybe get by recipient, and then it's going to be and notification type in, and then we're going to say order by notification timestamp, and then descending. So basically we can get all of the users notifications by specific types because we do not want the ones that are like new post notifications. We're going to pass in the application user, and we're going to go ahead and pass in a list of notification type, like so, and then we're going to call this notification types. So we're going to basically pass it a set list of notification types we want to fetch, and then go ahead and get all of them for that specific user. Let's go ahead and hop into our notification service. Inside of our notification service, we're first going to go ahead and set up a private final static list. So I'm going to say private final static, and this is going to go ahead and be a list of notification types. Notification types. I don't know why it's not showing up. Maybe it's because we don't have a list or something. I'm not sure. And this is going to be non-new post notification types. This is going to be equal to list.of, and we're going to go ahead and pass in a list of different things. Okay, let's go and get notification types in here. I don't know why it's not showing up. Maybe it's just notification type. Try that. There we go. I think it imported. We're going to say notification type dot, and we want our follow notifications. We want our notification type dot like notifications. We want our notification type dot reply notifications. We want our notification type dot repost notifications, notification type dot bookmark, and then finally notification type dot message, like so. Save that. Whoops. And then also go ahead and add our semicolon. There we go. So these are all of the ones we want to fetch. We probably could have done some weird loop or something to make it a little bit nicer, but that's fine. It's just going to stay that way. Then we want to go ahead and actually make our method to grab these. So we're going to say public list of notifications. And then this is going to be get all notifications. If I could type notifications right, for user. Here, we're just going to pass in an integer ID for the user. We're going to say application user is equal to notification, or actually not notification, user service dots, and this is going to be get user by ID, and this will also go ahead and call a exception if it doesn't work. And let's go ahead and fix this integer, and I'm pretty sure I guess I did call it user ID, so we can go ahead and say user ID. I thought I just called it ID, but that is fine. And then we need to go ahead and return, so we can go ahead and return our notification repository that get by recipient and notification type in order by notification timestamp description. So we have our user. Then here we're going to pass in our non-new notification types, like so. So there is our new service method. Now we're going to go ahead and make a controller method. So let's go into our notification controller. Inside our notification controller, just above the unread, we're going to go ahead and make a get mapping. So at get mapping, this is going to be to /$ curly brace, or just curly braces, the user ID. And then here we're going to say public list of notification. And this is going to be fetch users notifications, like so. Have an at path variable, like below. Path variable will equal to user ID, and this will be an integer user ID. Here, all we need to do is return our user service. Well, not user service, my bad. This should be notification service. .get all notifications for user, pass in the user ID. Now I'm going to go into our data SQL and see if we have any notifications set up here. So let's go ahead and uncomment our insert here. We need to comment this out because it messes up if we go ahead and try to make any new ones. But we can see we have 1 read one and 3 unread ones. So let's go into our Postman and go ahead and set this up just to make sure we get all 4 of these rather than just 3 of them. So let's go into our application consoles. Whenever we update the data SQL, it doesn't restart automatically. So let's go ahead and restart this really quick. Back in Postman, now let's try it. There we go. We got 1, we got 2, 3, and 4. So we got all 4, even though the first one is acknowledged, and then we'll kind of order these. They all kind of had the same timestamp, so they're not really getting ordered very well right now. It'll make more sense later on whenever we start making some other and start modifying these a little bit. With that being said, we can go ahead and start working on our front end and getting these notifications loaded in. So let's hop into our front end now. So in our front end, we need to go into our Redux slices and then notification slice, and we're going to go ahead and set up a couple things here. So first, we're going to go ahead and add in a new array here. So underneath the post notifications, we're going to make something called mention notifications. And that's because the actual notification page kind of splits up the notifications in 2 different ways. There's like a notifications for like follow and stuff, and then this one's for like mentions for replies. So we're going to go ahead and add mention notifications there. That way we have it. And then underneath our post action, we'll go ahead and add in our mention notifications will equal to this. We'll worry about this in a couple episodes when we get to the point of doing more of the complicated ones. Then we need to go ahead and create a couple new interfaces for basically acknowledging and loading our new post. So let's go ahead and say interface, and this one will be called load notification notifications payload. And then in here, what we're going to go ahead and say is a user ID will be a number, because we need that for the path variable, and then we need the token, which is a string. Then we also need an interface called acknowledge. And then this is going to be notifications payload. I probably could have called this read notifications payload because we're going to be refactoring read notifications. So I'm actually going to call this read notifications payload, and I'll have to remember to kind of use it properly. We're going to pass in a list of notifications to be kind of read, and then we're also going to go ahead and bring in the user's token. So token is a string. That's good to go. Now we need to go ahead and make some new async thunks. This is going to be probably most of the video, maybe. I'm not sure. But we're going to start out with kind of redoing the read notifications, and then we'll go ahead and move forward, update everything that uses that, and then move on to load them. So now we're going to say export const, and we're going to call this read notifications equal to create async thunk. And then in here, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll have our notification slash, it was acknowledged. I'm going to call it read. We're going to say async. And then our payload is going to be a read notification payload. And then our thunk API, and we'll have our arrow function. Inside here, we'll set up a try catch. So try catch E, and then if there's an error, we'll return thunk API dot reject with value, pass in the value E. There shouldn't be any errors unless we don't have a token, but we should always have a token. That should be fine. We'll await Axios dot post, and here we'll go ahead and post to http:// local host 8000 / notifications/acknowledge. Make sure I spell this right, acknowledge. And then our body will have our notifications, which is our payload.notifications. And then we also will need to have our headers, and this I'll probably end up spelling wrong. We'll have authorization, and then inside the authorization we'll have backticks bear, and then $ curly brace, and this will be payload.token. So there is that. Then we'll return payload.notifications, and we'll do some work with it. Let's figure out why the heck this is mad. It's mad because we need to go ahead and get rid of this old read notification. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. So let's go ahead and delete that like so. And then let's also get rid of the read notifications here. Fair enough. We don't need this anymore. We'll set up our own special reducer for that. We also need to go ahead and update the received notification. So if we go up to our received notification, we're going to go ahead and take this reply and we're going to move it down to its own case. So let's go ahead and delete this. We're going to go down below our bookmark. So we're going to have a new case for reply. And if this is a reply, we're going to go ahead and say state is equal to ... state. And we're going to go ahead and say mention notifications are equal to action.payload, comma, ... state, mention notifications. So like I said, whenever someone replies, it's going to be considered a mention rather than like a post action. And if someone also mentions you in a post, it'll obviously a mention, and then we will return the state. So we're going to make our list a little bit easier and just go ahead and put those in the correct place. So now we just need to go ahead and create a new async thunk for our read notifications. So let's go down here and do that. And also it seems like I'm missing a piece of code. So I'm going to go through and kind of find that, but let's go down here. Here we'll go ahead and say builder.add case. And then we're going to add the case for read notifications .fulfilled, and these are going to be really ugly, so bear with me. State and action. So state action, and then make our callback function. So let post be a notification array. We're going to let our mentions be a notification array. We're going to let our messages be a notification array. And then we're going to go ahead and let follow be a notification array. And I need to spell notification right. So we're going to go ahead and split these up. We're going to say if our action.payload of 0. So if the first one is a notification, maybe type equal to our new underscore post. That means that they're all new posts, and all we need to do is go ahead and clear out that new post array. So then we're going to say state is equal to ... state, and we're going to go ahead and say new post notifications will be equal to an empty array, and then we're just going to go ahead and return the state. I don't know what's wrong with this. Oh, it's because we need our extra reducers. That's my bad. Did I put this in the wrong spot? I might have put this in the wrong spots. Put it down one more. Extra reducers, colon that. There we go. Okay, what's the problem with this now? Let's see. And I forgot to do this part. Builder. I'm not on my game today. There we go. Now what we're going to do is if it's not a new post kind of that we're getting rid of, we're going to say let all notifications equal to ... state post action notifications ... state and this would be mention notifications ... state follow notifications and ... state message notifications. So we'll get all of the notifications in one big array, and then we're going to say let are acknowledged. I'm going to call this red notifications just because it will be a little bit easier, equal to action.payload.map. So we're going to go ahead and map through each notification. We're going to go ahead and basically say return our notification. So ... notification. And then this is going to be acknowledged will be equal to true. So we'll go ahead and set those up. And then now this is where things are going to get really gross and disgusting. We're going to say for let I equal to 0. I is less than all notifications dot length, and then I plus plus. And then inside this for loop, we're going to say for let j equal to 0. J is less than acknowledged or read notifications dot length. And then j plus plus, we're going to basically go through and replace all the notifications and all notifications with the ones in red. So we're going to say if all notifications of I dot notification ID is equal to our red notifications of j dot notification ID. So if those are the case, we're going to say all notifications dot splice, and we're going to go ahead and splice I1 in red notifications of J. And it looks like I might have typoed something. Nope, it's just this. That's fine. And I might have mistyped the message notification. So let's go and fix that. All right, so basically what we're doing here in this double for loop is we're just looping through all the red notifications, finding the one that is in all notifications and replacing it with the updated one. And that's going to make it basically seamlessly update on our front end. And we have one more for loop that is absolutely disgusting. So for let notification of all notifications. So now we basically need to resplit these into the different types. So what we can actually do is we can come back up here to the switch case, more or less. We can go ahead and switch on the notification type. So let's go ahead and copy this. It is going to be a little bit different, but it'll save us from typing out all of these cases again. So go ahead and paste this in. So now whenever we have a new post, which we don't need to deal with new posts. So we'll go ahead and get rid of new post anyway. So let's get rid of new post. We'll also go ahead and say notification dot notification type. So whoops, if I could type notification dot notification type. So if it's a like, a repost, or a bookmark, then what we'll go ahead and do is instead of returning state or anything like that, I don't know why I spent my time cleaning this up because we're actually gonna get rid of this. So let's get rid of this. We're just gonna go ahead and say post dot push, and we're gonna go ahead and push that notification like so, and then we'll go ahead and break. We don't run through. And let's go ahead, and this should be, no, that should be posts. I think I missed an S on this. So let's go ahead. No, what is the issue? I'm just gonna keep working on these. So let's do reply. So reply, we're gonna go ahead and delete this. And here, what we're gonna go ahead and say, let's fix that. We'll say mentions.push, and we'll go ahead and push the notification and break. Let's go ahead and format this. Follow, same thing. We'll go ahead and delete this. Here, we'll say follow dot push, and then our notification, and then break, and then our message. We will just use the default. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. In default, we'll go ahead and just say messages dot push, and then the notification. Save that. Let me go ahead and see what's going on with this. I'm guessing it's a TypeScript issue because this looks fine to me. So let me check TypeScript really quick. We need to actually set these to empty arrays. This is what it's complaining about. So let's go ahead and do that. Maybe. There we go. And now that should be good to go. So that is our reading notifications. Now we need to actually fetch the new ones, which apparently I didn't copy paste the code in for. So let me go ahead and get the code for loading notifications. Let's go back to the top here. Sorry, I didn't know that my navigation was open. So above the async thunk for read notification, say export const, and it's going to be load notifications equal to create async thunk. And then here, we'll go ahead and do this. Here, this will be notification / load. And then we'll have our async function with a payload of type load notification payload. And then we'll have our thunk API like so. And then here, we'll set up a try catch again. So try, and then catch E. And if there's an error, return thunk API.reject with value, and then pass in that value E. Otherwise, if there's not, we'll say let request equal to await Axios dot, and then this is going to be a get. And we'll go ahead and do backticks http / localhost / 8000, and this will be / notifications / and then this is just going to be $ curly brace payload dot, and then user ID. And then we just need to set up our headers. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll have our headers here. We'll have our authorization. And as always, those will be a backticks, and then bear $ curly brace, and then payload dot token. Go ahead and format that to make it look pretty. After that, we'll go ahead and just return rec.data. And now what we can go ahead and do is set up the async thunk for this. So let's scroll down. Above our builder add case for read notification, we'll say builder add case. And this will be for load notifications dot fulfilled. Again, I'm not that worried about failing. State action like so. This one is very similar to the one below. So I'm actually going to go ahead and grab this to just save some time. So we're going to let post, mentions, follow, and messages equal to an empty array. So let's paste that in. And then we're going to go ahead and do something very similar. We say let all notifications equal to action. And we'll go ahead and say this is a notification array equal to action.payload. So we'll go ahead and get in that array. And then we're going to do something very similar to below again. So let's go ahead and scroll down here. We're going to grab the switch case. And I did forget to do one thing. So we need to go ahead and fix that, but I'll do that in a second. And then I'm going to bring it up here like so. Paste it in, go ahead and do that. So now we'll go ahead and do that. And then we actually need to set the state, which is what I forgot to do before. So state is equal to ... state. We'll go ahead and say post action notifications will equal to post. We'll have our mention notifications, which will be equal to mentions. We'll have our follow notifications, which will be equal to follow. And finally, we'll have our message notifications will be equal to message is like so. And we need to do the same thing below. We'll return the state. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place today. I'm not sure why my mind is all on the frizz, but let's go ahead and paste this in as well down here. I would have been debugging this forever, trying to figure out why in the world things weren't working. There we go. So that should theoretically be everything in place in our notification slice to actually be able to use this. So now what I want to be able to do is whenever we load into the application, I want to be able to fetch everything whenever it connects to the WebSocket. So let's go into a use WebSocket, and inside of our WebSocket, whenever we actually connect, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to check to make sure there's a token. So if there's a user and if there's a token on the user, we're going to go ahead and dispatch. We're going to go ahead and dispatch load notifications. And then we can go ahead and pass in the user ID, which would be user.user ID. And we can also go ahead and say token because we need to bring that in. So let's go ahead and also bring in token up here. I completely forgot. So const token is equal to use selector. This will be state and root state. And then we'll bring in the state.user.token. So if we have a user logged in and they have a token, we'll go ahead and dispatch and get those notifications. Now we have to do like one more thing to really get this working and actually rendering, because right now if we open up the web page, it would be basically aired out, as you can see. And that's because whenever we dispatch read notifications, it's different now. So let's go into our feed more post component and actually fix this. And we should be able to see the application running again. And we can go ahead and quickly make the notification page and kind of show some notifications and then call it an episode. Here inside feed more posts, it's obviously mad because we need to go ahead and pass in the notifications. So to do this, what I'm going to do is we can still use the new post notifications as post, but what we'll do instead is we'll come down here and let's get rid of this new post. This actually needs an object now, and this will have our notifications, which will be our post notifications, and we'll have our token, which will be user state.token. Assuming we have it, and we are already checking for that, so that should be good to go. So now theoretically, fingers crossed, if we go into the app, everything should be loaded fine now. And if we refresh, let's try again. I don't know why notifications, it says it's notifications because we have notifications pulling in from the back end. So that actually shows that it is working. If we clicked on this, it doesn't go anywhere because we don't have it set up. You can see that it did actually fetch those without having to look inside of our Redux, and everything else should be working primarily the same. To wrap up this episode, I'd like to go ahead and just create a very simple notification page, and then maybe just put in like that there's a notification or like the nicknames of the notifications or something. So let's go ahead and hop back into our front end code, and then let's go ahead and open up our Explorer, and we need to go into our pages. So let's scroll down to pages. I'm going to go ahead and make a notification page. I think I called this notifications before, but I'm going to go ahead and call it notifications page, and it's going to kind of clean some things up. .tsx. We'll also go ahead and make a and then notifications page.css. Okay, so let's go into a notifications page, close out that. Let's export default function, and I'll just go ahead and call this notification page like so. It's not going to take anything in. This is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to have const notification state equal to use selector. And then here we'll have state root state. We'll need to import some of the stuff. That's completely fine. And we're going to go ahead and bring in state.notifications. We're not going to break it apart any further than that. Well, we are going to go ahead and say const all notifications are equal to ... notification state, and then we'll say follow notifications, follow notifications. We'll say ... notification state and then post action notifications. I believe we go all the way through this, but let me just double check. We only grab also mentioned, so we'll say ... notification. Whoops. And I'll figure out why it's mad at me in a second. State .mention notifications, because we don't want the messages in here. That makes sense. Let's see here. Let's just bring in use selector. I think that's what it's mad about. Maybe. Guess it doesn't want to bring in use selector. So imports and then use selector. There we go. And let's see what's wrong here. I think I spelled notifications wrong. And then let me also fix mention notifications. Not sure what's going on here. Still spelled it wrong. Let's try again. Mention notifications. There we go. Cool. So now we have all of our notifications. That way we can kind of go through and map them. Then we also want to go ahead and say const location is equal to use location, because Twitter uses different routes for different types of notifications. That's why I have mention notifications versus post action notifications. And finally, we'll return a simple div here. So we'll say a div, maybe div with a class name equal to, I could type notifications, and I'm still failing at typing. Terrific. I really need to get better. We'll say notifications, just so we know that we're on the notifications page, and we'll just map through all the notifications. So all notifications.map, we're going to go ahead and map through a notification. And then all we're going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to do an H2. We'll just say H2, and we'll say notification dot notification type or something. And then here we'll say notification from, and we'll also go ahead and get the notification dot action user dot nickname. So basically just say, hey, you have a notification. You have this type of notification from this person. The location would be useful later on. Again, I kind of split this episode into two because right now I'm already like 40 minutes recording, but would have kept it as one, it would have been like an hour and a half. That's why I split it up, and this is what made the most sense. So let's go ahead and also bring in the CSS really quick. So imports, we'll go ahead and bring in the / notification page.css. Let's go into the notification page CSS and get that working. And I might have spelled something wrong here. So this one says notifications page.css. I'll fix it if there is. So dot notifications. And here we'll have width 100% of the space. We'll have height equal to 100% of the space. We're going to have border dash right. And this is going to be 1px solid and pound. This is E1, E8, and then ED. It's like the gray color. I'm going to go ahead and copy paste this just to make our lives a little bit easier. I'm a little bit concerned that this isn't working, but we'll see what happens here. We'll paste it in. We'll also have a border on the left. So say border dash left of the same exact thing. So there'll be borders on the left and right. Let's go back in the notification page and make sure I spelled this correctly. Okay, so I did put an S in it. Let's make sure to put an S in that notifications page. Now we obviously need to go ahead and set up the routes. So let's go into our app.tsx. Inside the app.tsx, let's go ahead and scroll down. Now below our post, we'll go ahead and add stuff for notification. So there's 3 notification routes. So say route path equal to / notification, and this will be element equal to notification page. And I guess it's notifications page, I believe, except I might have named it with an A. So I need to fix that really quick. Let's save this, go to our Explorer. Let's go ahead and rename this. So go down or up to our pages. Let's go ahead and make sure this is notification. Whoops, rename. Oh no, they both say notifications page. Here we go. Here's the issue. Go ahead and rename this to notification page with an S. Go back to our app.tsx. Now we should be able to import it. Let's see, space A, whoops, space CA. Import it. There we go. Get rid of that. Cool. So we'll have / notification. We're also going to have / route path equal to / notifications / and this one's going to be verified. This one I'm not going to fill out really. I'll make a little special page for it, but it's just going to be like an image because that's all I have. Once again, this will be notifications page. We never close this one off. Let's go ahead and close that off. Now we can say route path equal to notifications slash mentions element equal to notifications page. And let's make sure we close that out. So now theoretically we should be able to go into the notifications page. So let's go and just try that out really quick. So if we give it a refresh, you can see we have some notifications. We click on it, and you know what? I think whenever we click on the navigation, we still need to set that up. So let's go into our navigation. So let's go down to where our notifications are. So here's our notifications. It doesn't link to anything. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to say slash and then notifications like so. And then we also need to do a small amount of work in here. So where we have this notification text, we need to be able to actually see whether or not it is bold or not bold. So we can go ahead and turn these into backticks. And I think we need to wrap these inside of curly braces as well. And we'll have our navigation text. And then we're going to go ahead and say $ curly braces like so. And we're going to say current page dot starts with. We're going to see if it starts with slash notifications. If it does, then we're going to have navigation active. So navigation dash active, which is going to go ahead and bold it. Otherwise, we'll have our navigation inactive. So let's go ahead and copy this guy and bring him in like so and save that. So now whenever we're actually on the navigation page, no matter which navigation page it is, it should also bold the navigation like Twitter does. Let's go back into our application one last time here, and fingers crossed we can click on notifications. You can see there's a follow notification from Rick, from Morty, from Summer, and then from Bird Person. We have our notifications and it is also bolded. Great. So that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode. I know it might not have been too much stuff here, and hopefully I can edit it up so it's not so crazy. I don't know how I missed some of the code. I was copy and paste and moving things around. So it is what it is, but I appreciate you all for watching. As always, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Next episode, we're going to go ahead and transform these into actual notifications you can click and get rid of and merge together and stuff like that. I have some of the logic figured out, but there's still some logic I need you guys to help me out with. I'll tell you how you can help me out next episode. But as always, this has been Ethan on Coder. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do want to see where this started out from the absolute beginning, there is a playlist in the description down below from start to finish. But anyway, guys, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, y'all.